with regards to this so-called District 13 remake. I didn't actually watch that one, but apparently this one is screenwritten by the same director, Luc Besson, also the director of was it, was it the Fifth Element? Yeah. Anyway, so I watched Rick Mentions and you know, I mean, there's a lot of action movies which have a lot of guns, a lot of car chases. Now this had those, but it also had martial arts. Of course, Asian, particularly I think Hong Kong movies generally have martial arts, especially action comedies, which this one isn't. But they usually use of course martial arts is mainly originated from the East, so it's kind of natural, I suppose, for them. But yeah, one doesn't really watch much that uses it. And guns is so boring. Not that were a lot of guns here, one cannot say there weren't. But like, as opposed to, alright, so the movie does begin with shootout and whatnot, which is as violent as it is boring, really. Um, but then you just get, and yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, I hadn't seen this Duke 13 as I said, so apparently he plays the same character there practically. I didn't realize I was watching the founder of parkour. I didn't know it had a founder, but yeah. So I suppose I don't know, one of those things where the the movements, both I don't know if you could call it that, maybe literally and figuratively, uh, is more famous, I suppose, than the originators. I had no idea there was a group who originated it from France, and yeah, I could sort of tell it was a French thing. The name is sort of French, but yeah, I had no idea he was an actor anyway. Uh, I had no idea about him generally before, so yeah. Um, but as opposed to many other action movies, which is very boringly, have just guns, just I mean, it becomes so boring, Now, as I said, I have no idea about, if this Victor thing is really so much better. Apparently, it's rated about like two more on average, yeah. But in comparison to action movies, this is mainly just in comparison. I mean, obviously, different genres cannot really be compared. So I think it might be logical, in fact, to rate movies based on genres, really, because other than that, I mean, there's not really much more in comparison. I mean, I'm not going to compare this sort of movie with rom-com, for example. I mean, to be honest, they both sort of are boring. I mean, can be at least, unless they try something original. Now, for most of this movie, besides the parkour itself, which, was sort of a novelty, at least for me, I don't know if there's many other. Apparently, there are quite a few movies which have it, but I haven't seen that many. Maybe parkour specifically, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think Eastern action movies have parkour specifically. They do have martial arts, but not parkour specifically. Apparently, of course, martial arts was the inspiration behind parkour. Yeah, so in that sense, this was slightly less boring than most action movies, which somehow they think, yeah, they could just have guns and that's it. It's a done deal, and even then, it's usually profitable for some reason. But yeah. So this had a bit difference, but what I think did better as well. And I don't know how this dictating ends, but the way this movie ended was better than most, I suppose. I mean, many movies, including other genres as well. You can sort of predict the ending. Most do not even have twists. Twists can be interesting sometimes. You just could, and this one was, I suppose. I mean, it was a bit too optimistic at the end there, too sugary in a sense. But yeah, one thing I didn't like so much though from the entire movie overall is the fact that for some reason I mean, it's supposed to be set in some sort of dystopian future, near future at least, so it's not quite sci-fi per se. But uh, I don't know why they zoomed in on Detroit. Um, yeah, apparently even the city itself collaborated with the filming. I don't know why. Why would they specify something, in reality? Because it's fiction, so why specify? And it could be anywhere. I mean, it was a Franco-Canadian production, so why couldn't have been one of the cities there? There's a question, Apparently, the original was set in Paris, though, so um, yeah, I don't know much more beyond that about that. I haven't seen it, so I haven't read much about it. That's the problem, though. It specifies there. I don't think it should have done that. Yeah, besides the fact that there is indeed a lot of violence and such, but at least the twist at the end was interesting. I mean, it's certainly better than if it followed very linear direction like most movies do, or action movies specifically, very much do. So yeah, in that sense, the last 10 minutes or so were interesting. Um, so unexpected, which is good. Unexpectedness is great. I think. I mean, I don't know. Some people might seem to hold the opinion that twists somehow could be detrimental, but I don't think they are really. Often they're interesting, at the very least. Especially when it comes to a genre that is usually straightforward. So yeah, they are normally interesting. In this case, they are definitely. So yeah, and apparently this was the one of the last movies that Walker did, which is very sad. But he died, it seems, the way he lived, or at least the way he acted. Because apparently, the road he died on was where people drift. And that is what they do in the no, which other French is anyway, yeah, but horrible way to die. Apparently burned beyond recognition, very horrible. I can't believe a car can go up in flames so quickly after a crash. Didn't think it would, but apparently it does. So yeah, he was just 40. But other than that, I mean, it's mostly a conventional sort of movie. But the ending did somewhat redeem it. Just slightly. It's not like just suddenly became the masterpiece or anything. But, by far, it didn't. But so it's still mediocre. But the parkour and the hand-to-hand combat somewhat differentiates it from other similar type of movies, which is always welcome, really, in any genre, really, to differentiate, to make unique. That should be the point, of every movie. You shouldn't just copy every other movie. So Yeah, on those fronts, it's interesting as both.